I'm Assemblywoman Pam Lampitt, representing the 6th District here in the southern part of New Jersey. Here, standing with my colleagues, both in the Assembly and both in the freeholders here in Camden County. We're here to express our outrage and our concern about Bob Hugin. You know, today, the newspapers, the headlines were about the Senate Judiciary Chairman and his aide who was being hauled off for sexual harassment. And in another story, it was about Bill Cosby being sentenced. And in another story, it was about 5 sisters who are accusing, a priest for sexual abuse. When is it going to stop? When is it going to end? However, Bob Hugin is the man who's trying to be our representative here in New Jersey, okay? He stands with Trump. 15 allegations of sexual assault against our president, and Bob Hugin stands beside him. Bob Hugin stands beside Trump, who claims it was fake news when Dr. Ford came forward against Brett Kavanaugh. Fake news? I'm sorry. We're here to stand for Bob Menendez because Bob Menendez has stood for us. Very concerned that we are, in the future, looking towards having a Supreme Court justice who verbally shared his thoughts about the fact that birth control is a form of abortion. Women here today, we are outraged the fact that Bob Hugin was the man who would fully support Brett Kavanaugh if he was in the Senate today. This is the man that's running to take the seat of our Senate seat, one of our 2 Senate seats. Bob Menendez is the man who has always firmly stood for women. He's stood for equal pay for equal work. He has stood for an earned sick leave. He has stood for women's rights and women's rights to choose. We are here to be able to support Bob Menendez. We want to make sure our voices are heard because today we need to make sure that women are even more empowered than they were 20 and 30 years ago. Because 20 or 30 years ago is when Bob Hugin decided that he was going to prevent a woman from joining a dining club at Princeton University. He took it to the U.S. Supreme Court. How dare he try to suppress us? How dare he try to continue to suppress women today, here in 2018? We're not barefoot, and we're certainly not pregnant, and we're certainly not in the kitchen. We have a seat at the table, and we're going to continue to grow our seats at the table. And we're going to do that by having a representative like Bob Menendez. I'd like to turn it over to my good friend, Assemblywoman Pat Egan Jones.
Thank you, Pam. You've certainly expressed the deep concern many of us have. And women of my generation, listen up. We've put up with enough. Right. It is time to say no to people like Bob Hogan, whatever he says he is. He is not.
He's a hooligan.
He's a hooligan, there we go. He is not for us. He spent his life making a whole lot of money and acting as if the rest of us don't count. He doesn't know our state. His job here was to get a president elected, and that would be the one we currently are struggling under. This is a terrible time if women don't stand together. A wonderful old president, Abraham Lincoln, once said it, a house divided against itself cannot stand. We cannot continue to make progress for women to make sure they are on equal footing with every man all the time, regardless of the role they choose to take. I respect women who choose to be working at home and taking care of their family.
Yes.
I respect women who want to be in the U.S. Senate, in the state Senate, and of course, I respect all my colleagues who are willing to take it on the chin and run for elected office. Bob Menendez is somebody I've known personally. He's a man of extraordinary, really good character, and he cares about New Jersey, and he sure cares about the women of this state and the women of our country. We need leaders in Washington that can help redefine what it means to be an American. All of us together. I'm going to turn it back to my Assemblywoman Lampitt. I do represent the 5th Legislative District, which is a really interesting place because it includes the wonderful city of Camden, a lot of its older suburbs, and a good part of Gloucester County as well. I have a very mixed district. I love it, and I work really hard to represent all of their interests.
Now we're going to hear from Carmen Rodriguez, who's a freeholder here in Camden County. She too has a voice, and she too would like to express her concerns and outrage about Bob Hugin and his position as it pertains towards women here in New Jersey. Carmen.
Thank you, Assemblywoman. Everything that you said is absolutely true. One thing that we know is Hugin does not represent us. He does not represent women. He does not represent minorities. He does not represent the working class. He knows nothing of what it is to be that, which is what I am, which is what we all are here. We are working to fight for the rights of individuals to have a good life, to live in a country where they can make ends meet and where you can survive and where you can have sustainability. We need to make that happen. Senator Bob Menendez has been working to make that happen for all of us, to equalize, to make the playing field fair for all of us so that we can have a voice. But Hugin does not care about us. Hugin does not care about New Jersey. The only thing he cares about is making sure that the rich stay rich and that Trump can do whatever he wants, which is basically destroy this country. We cannot allow that. He is supporting Kavanaugh, which has refused at every moment to answer every vital question that every senator has asked him, and therefore create an environment where people don't even really know what he stands for, because he denies everything he has said before and everything he has admitted to in the past. He is lying. He is lying just as others are lying. Hugin is supporting a liar. We cannot have that. We need to have truth. We need to have equity. We need to have fairness. And it starts at the Senate. It continues in Congress and continues throughout the state. It is imperative that people go out and vote for the right candidate who is going to support the rights of the majority. That is who we are supporting. We are supporting Senator Menendez because we know that he is the one who will make that happen. But we need to stand firm behind them, and we need to make sure that he goes back.
Thank you, Carmen. You know, you're not going to silence us. However, Bob Hugin has remained silent on many things. He's remained silent on standing up for what's right for women, okay? He's remained silent when other Republicans have made damaging, disparaging, hateful things about women. He has remained silent. We, here in New Jersey, do not need a silent senator. Here in New Jersey, we need a senator that's going to be vocal for us here. Standing beside me is Freeholder Susan Shin Angulo. She's had her own plight. She has her own issues. She has her own reasons why she believes Bob Menendez is the person for us here in New Jersey. Susan.
Thank you, Assemblywoman Lampitt. Really appreciate being here together. We are, one word, outraged. Outraged with Hugin. Why is he supporting Kavanaugh? I don't know, but all I know is that he has supported him as well as he has hit. So once you support, you have to come out like us, as we're supporting each other, come out and be vocal. Obviously, he's not vocal. There's an issue here. We are outraged with his selection and support, and we all know that he's just supporting Trump. And we here in New Jersey, and especially here in South Jersey, do not want that or need that. Because as women, we are here to support each other no matter what. Yes, we have our differences, but at the end of the day, we are here to support one another, make sure that we have equal rights, equal pay, and we know that November 6th, Bob Menendez are here to support women. So vote Bob Menendez November 6th. Thank you very much.
You know, it's really dreadful that anybody who steps forward, a woman, as we have with Professor, who's come forward to say what happened to her at the hands of a Supreme Court Justice nominee. It is incomprehensible to me that after we went through that whole scenario with Anita Hill, that we're standing here again with a credible woman saying what happened to her by an individual we want to make rules about how we should live our lives, when obviously he started in the basement. Not a good place to let us know he would be a decent justice. He didn't start out as a decent young man.
And he
Uh,
denies it. And he
and-
denies that he ever did it, which is the most
It is
appalling.
disgusting.
It is the
Yes.
most appalling. You can't not even own your mistakes.
You know, I was thinking about this, and personally, I have 2 children and 2 daughters. And if something, God forbid, if something like this happens to them and they wanted to come out and share this and step up, you know, is this what's going to happen to our country? That they're going to be shut off to the side and say, no, let's put this under the carpet and let's let it go. No, absolutely not. They need to come out. They need to fight for what their rights are.
If the Republicans' only rebuttal is, why didn't she come out sooner?
Yeah.
Then why didn't the Republicans say that when so many people are coming forward about the Catholic priests? Why didn't people come out and say that when Bill Cosby? Why didn't they come out with Sandusky? The Republicans have not come out. If all they can say is why didn't they come out sooner to be able to talk about what's something that they've had to repress for so many years, then I'm sorry. That's not the people that we want standing before us, okay? Our choice is now and our choice is here. Our choices come November, and our choice is Bob Menendez, as Bob Menendez has been the one to be able to continue to support women's rights, women's right to choose, women's right to work, women's right to equality, women's right to equal pay, women's right to be able to achieve what they want to achieve. We all have daughters. We all want granddaughters. We all want successes for them. We all want them to be able to have a better life and a more quality and more equitable life.